Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Breaking news today. Chelsea agree deal for Portuguese top talent Giovani Quenda. Here we go. Medical done for Quenda after secret blitz. He will join Chelsea in 2026. Club-to-club agreement completed with Sporting, and Quenda said yes to Chelsea project and Enzo Maresca's plans. Wow. This is pretty big news to drop at around 5 o'clock in the morning, UK time, after a lot of Chelsea fans were put to sleep incredibly early last night by such a dead, boring game against Copenhagen. Chelsea won for the 4th time in a row, but in the middle of the night, we are getting breaking transfer news. And Giovani Quenda is only 17 years old. And look, I'm not going to sit here jumping out of my chair, because I've said countless times, right? We need a bit of experience. We need some leaders. But there are certain youngsters, right? If you follow the footballing world at large, Giovani Quenda was wanted by Manchester United. A lot of Man United fans are pretty convinced that the deal to sign him was already done. The majority of people that watch the Portuguese league are saying that Quenda is the most exciting, promising talent in the country right now from Portugal. And at only 17... if we take a little look here at these baseline stats, this is on FB Ref, it isn't blowing you away. 25 matches, 1 goal and 4 assists in 1,800 minutes of football. These aren't ridiculously mega numbers, but as you can see here, the guy is only 17 years and 318 days old. Born in 2007. Shot creating actions 26, goal creating actions 2. If we look here at the basic scouting report for Giovani Quenda, we're talking about a player that's really good at carrying the ball, taking players on. He's in the top 6% of players in Europe for those statistics. And Quenda, what is exciting about him, and obviously this player is a very valuable youngster. If you look here, 32 million euros is his value at only 17 years old. Left-footed, but plays predominantly on the right wing. But interestingly, if you don't know much about him, he also can play as a right wing back. So there's obviously a lot of questions that are going to arise about Chelsea signing Giovani Quenda. But the first one is with Enzo Maresca being in charge, right? I said in the 6 Things We Learnt video yesterday, Maresca, I think, needs to do more when he's asking for more from the Chelsea fans. We've got to be playing a bit more exciting football. Quenda absolutely does fit that bill. But as he can play as a right wing back, and we've obviously just spent a lot of money on a player that still hasn't even joined yet, Esteval Willian is joining Chelsea in the summer. Now, he's also a right winger, but he wants to play as a 10. There are so many different questions that are being asked here, because for me, we could see Quenda play as a right wing back, but does that mean Maresca's going to be changing his formation? I strongly doubt that's even going to be a possibility, let alone it's going to happen. Could he play as a right back? Well, Reece James has recently just come back into fitness. Maresca's been spending a lot of time telling us that he sees Reece James as a DM. Malo Gusto can't stay fit, has had a poor season. Is Quenda actually being looked at as a right back? I strongly doubt it at 17, and just how good he is at carrying the ball and what we have seen of him going forward so far in his very short career, I don't think that's going to be the case. So we start to ask questions moving further up the field. Esteval as a right winger. Madueke as a right winger. Neto as a right winger. Tyreek George can also play on the right. We've also got Cole Palmer that can play on the right. We're starting to see now, 3 years into this ownership, right? We're starting to see what's going to happen here at Chelsea. There are some players, such as your Felixes and your Vegas, that won't last 6 months before they're loaned out. But there's also going to be a lot of players that are going to just be sold on, despite signing those long-term contracts. And at the moment, Noni Madueke, I think we have seen since he's been out of the team, that we don't have that direct player that can run and take players on. Giovani Quenda can absolutely do that. But I think Noni is probably the best player at the club for actually beating and taking on a man. So I wouldn't be wanting to get rid of Noni. So Pedro Neto, a player that we only literally bought last summer from Wolves, who was wanted by Tottenham's, Arsenal wanted him, top clubs in the Premier League and Europe. wanted to sign Pedro Neto from Wolves, but why hasn't he been that effective at Chelsea? These are all big questions. And I always wonder, with Esteval coming in the summer as well, is it simply the way that Chelsea play means we don't get the best out of the wingers? Or are the wingers not good enough? That is a question I would love to hear you guys discussing in the comments down below, because Mudryk was brought in and there was obviously a high ceiling expected of him, and then it never really took off. Sancho started really well. It's never taken off. Tyreek George, great moments against Copenhagen. Looked bright, looked to be shooting, taking players on. But, like, is he going to be good enough in Chelsea's level? It remains to be seen. Don't want to write him off too soon. But this is quite exciting. I'm not going to lie. I've seen a lot of Giovani Quenda. When I saw Man United fans talking about him, Man United fans were absolutely adamant that he was going to be their player. He was going to be joining Manchester United, joining the Portuguese revolution under Ruben Amorim, But it's not the case. Chelsea, once again, are doing work behind the scenes to get jobs done. Now, when it comes to wingers, obviously, when we're looking at the winger position at Chelsea and we're talking, and I keep talking about wanting experience, wanting leadership, I want that through the spine of the team. I want there to be exciting, youthful, bright, quick, fast players that are willing to take a man on, to beat a defender with the wingers. So when I see Chelsea buying young wingers, that isn't necessarily something that I'm going to turn my nose up at. It's making sure that we actually bring in that experience in defensive positions, goalkeeping positions, the striking position. I don't want a 17, 18-year-old unproven striker. But Giovani Quenda, man, I cannot believe Chelsea have actually got this done. He's one of the most sought-after talents in Europe. And you can see here, like, as much as we're not seeing loads of goals and assists, he's only got 2 goals and 6 assists in all competitions this season. But we're talking about a player here that's already started 40 matches in the 24-25 season, and he's only 17 years old. So obviously now, between now and the end of the season, he's playing alongside Viktor Gyökeres as well at Sporting. Could this be the start of a relationship there between Chelsea and Sporting Lisbon? Is this the only negotiation that Chelsea will be doing with Sporting? There's a lot of different avenues that can be explored here as a result of this signing. But I think in terms of looking at the youngsters, I know it comes across as a little bit Benson. You can't keep flip-flopping. There are some young players that just really are that good. And as much as I'm not going to get too excited right now, because we're not going to see him until 2026, again, I think this could in fact be a very good move. He's a good playmaker. Loves to get stuck in as well, Giovani Quenda. He's not scared of going in for a tackle and winning his duels as well. He's a solid player. So let me know in the comments down below. Do you think we are seeing him brought in to be converted to a left winger? Will he be playing on the right wing? What does it mean for the futures of maybe Palmer, Esteval, Neto, Maresca? It would be absolutely too soon right now to speculate too much, because we don't have him next season. I want to stress that. He's not joining until 2026. But let me know your thoughts on Giovani Quenda in the comments down below. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more content coming out about this guy now over the next few weeks or so. We've got an international break after this weekend. So Chelsea-Arsenal at the weekend now is what we're looking forward to. But just to finish up, I want to speak about last night a little bit, because did you guys see how many empty seats there were in the East Stand yesterday for Chelsea Copenhagen? I think at the moment there's a lot of feeling of apathy around Chelsea. I think fans at this point, even though we're winning games, there's just something not quite right. I think Maresca calling the fans out hasn't sat very well with the fans. I think a lot of people are very bored of the football that's being played. And look, when you've got a player of this kind of talent and ability on the wing coming in, that it's a good answer potentially, even though this is a long-term transfer again. This is a good answer to hopefully making the football more exciting. Or is Giovani Quenda going to come in and suffocate at Chelsea? Is Esteval going to join in the summer and suffocate at Chelsea? The more wingers we end up bringing to this club, who are looking great when we buy them and then all of a sudden become useless. We have to start looking internally. It can't just be that all of these players were really good at Wolves, Shakhtar Donetsk, Dortmund, flipping everywhere else but here. Do you know what I mean? Let me know your thoughts on Quenda to Chelsea in the comments down below. Subscribe to GBFC if you are new, and make sure you check out more GBFC. Link in the description. Come on, you Blues.